Hello, everyone in podcast land. I'm David.
And I'm Jono.
And this is the podcast where we do a little bit of that, a little bit of this and whatnot. It's the Let's Wing It show. And today we have a treat for you. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. Jono's seen several movies, including Antman, The Flash, and Extraction 2. I'm going to give you my thoughts and pitch you on why you should be watching Succession. I know I'm late, guys. I know I'm late. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the hype of Final Fantasy 16 and, you know, capping it off with some Nintendo Direct action. Big Direct today. It's E3 season, even though E3 does not exist. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, I'll be totally honest. I didn't know it was happening until Twitter, Elon Musk's Twitter actually finally kind of worked, which was kind of weird. And then I just saw a bunch of Nintendo stuff. Peach's own game, Super Mario RPG. We'll talk about a little bit more. But I mean, I think the big news, because it just came out, I just saw it on opening Friday, is The Flash. Ezra Miller's,
let's start with that.
Yeah, Ezra Miller's first independent movie as The Flash. And I loved it. It was actually really good. I was actually really surprised. Granted, I did go in at like level 0 expectations. I was preparing. I'm like, okay, if it sucks like 30 minutes in, I'm out. Like, I'll just walk out of the theater because I will say this.
AMC ticket stubs, baby. Let's go.
I won't promote AMC till the day I die because this freaking program is amazing. I'll just like walk out and I'm not going to feel too bad because I already watched one movie and that paid it off. But yeah, like it's okay. Let me preface this because I got a debate about this at work, but with people who haven't seen it and people who have just read reviews. So they're like, first complaint, the CG is like borderline kind of garbage. So
okay. It looks very much like a video game.
Yeah, those like a couple things that you just kind of have to go, oh, do not care, do not think about it, just go along with the ride and just concentrate on the story. Because graphics are crazy. Ezra Miller's acting is really good when you need it to be, and then kind of like weird when it's like him just being the Flash.
Did you find that him playing against himself distracting? Like, I have a hard time engaging emotionally when I know that there's two different takes where the actor is not actually interacting with himself and it's all fake. Like, I have a hard time engaging emotionally. Did you find that, or did you kind of just buy into the illusion? I
buy into the illusion because it worked out really well. Because like Ezra Miller, just like, you know, don't like to comment on someone's physically, but he has that kind of like weird, kind of like almost quasi Nicolas Cage quality where he can kind of be like super serious, super emotional. Yet he could be like, haha, I'm so weird and goofy. And you kind of buy it. And his double in the movie is very like, obviously it's him growing up with, you know, I'll kind of quasi spoil it. You know,
hey, wait, spoilers for The Flash.
This Flash, yeah. So his mom, like, basically, okay, here's the whole thing. His mom dies when he was a kid. Everyone thinks his dad did it. Basically, he went back in time, fixed it, and then kind of fucked everything up. And then this also kind of like opens up in a way where it is the multiverse and all sorts of other things. Michael Keaton's the Batman. He's still Bruce Wayne. He's not the Flashpoint Paradox version of the original story, like that story arc. He's not Thomas Wayne. He's actually Bruce Wayne, but Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne, which I do have a theory about later on. And then like it's just like, you know, okay, wait, that spoiler over.
Spoiler's done.
Yeah, that part, like, it's just like a really emotional, great story because it just kind of like it had almost a perfect, Dan Hammond's like, story arc, the circle, the hero's journey. And it's almost exactly like they took that and they lived by it. And they went like, okay, this happens and this happens, this happened. And he literally comes back to the same moment as a changed person. And kind of goes, shouldn't have done that, or I should have done that, or did something. And I fell in love with the whole movie. It was like, everyone's great. Every actor is great. And Ezra Miller as the Flash, even though, yes, he has a lot of problems and maybe we shouldn't talk too much about it because we don't have the full story. Yeah, I think he was amazing. Like nothing felt really out of place. I was like watching The Flash. It just felt really good.
Did you feel when you watched it like the movie would have been enhanced if you didn't know Michael Keaton was in it? Do you think that they had to proverbially blow their load because of all the Ezra Miller controversy? Because that's the sense I got, was that they didn't want people to know that Michael Keaton was in it. But did you get that sense watching it that like it was this big reveal?
No, like you see it like a kind of like a big reveal. It's like, whoa, it's Michael Keaton, and then you see Michael Keaton kind of go on his own like a little mini journey as well as spoiler again. He like retires being Batman in Gotham, because apparently Gotham is now the safest city in the world in that version. It was pretty funny. You're like, oh, that's kind of weird. But also you can just just see Michael Keaton just kind of like just chilling and hanging out, being like happy retired. And then he also explains how basically enough him doing this instance, even though if he tries to fix it, it's still kind of fucked up, as that he basically enough did what Doctor Strange did in MCU, just kind of open up the whole multiverse. So it's probably going to happen more and more, especially with James Gunn joining in and trying to fix everything. Hopefully he can fix everything. And also, here's my theory. Here's actually my theory. The universe that he went into is actually the universe where Tim Burton's Batman exists, because Superman never appeared in any of Tim Burton's versions of the movie. And it just seems like he just achieved everything, because he's exactly the same Batmobile, same Batplane, same Batsuit. Like everything's exactly the same. So I was like, I think that's probably the same universe, and
I think so.
Feels makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so would you say that it is worth people spending $20 and 2 hours of their life to go see?
I would say watch it in a matinee. Then you'd feel more like, $15? Okay, cool. I can spend the $5 on a drink.
Or sign up for AMC's Ticket Stub.
Let's go! Yeah, so
let's go Ticket Club.
Yeah, so like I know, maybe I'm more partial in the movie because I lost my mother, and then he also lost his mother, and then there was like that one part in the movie I was like, no, like oh, like I was like really like sad and emotional. So yeah, like I would say, David, if you have a free Friday night or whatever night, and just like, I got to do something, go watch The Flash.
It's tough. I'm uncertain of my feelings on Ezra Miller, and so I'm not sure if I want to give money to The Flash. I kind of hope that they don't keep doing Flash movies with him. So I haven't decided. I have other movies to watch. Tons of stuff on Plex to see first. So I gotta get up with it.
But, also one thing
good.
Too,
so what?
The one thing too is that they did say the reason here was the reason why the graphics looks bad, and I had this information going in, is apparently because this is how Ezra Miller, the Flash, sees himself in the world, because it does stop kind of looking kind of weird at one section in the movie and then starts looking kind of weird again, so it kind of makes sense.
Sure.
But yeah,
I mean, yeah, Flash, it's gonna be like a video game. It's fine. It's a superhero movie. I'm not that concerned.
It's a 7.5. This is 7.5.
Okay, yeah. That's not bad. I remember when the movie was first getting reviews, people were like, "It's the best superhero movie ever."
No,
and I was like, I don't think that's gonna be true, but people always say that.
Yeah, those are like, well, this is the trailers, so it's not really spoiling anything. There was a big fight scene in the desert, and like for me, just maybe because I like, I don't work in the movie industry, but working in the YouTube world, I can kind of see the same methods that we use and they use is similar, is that they definitely made that whole scene. So it's like, they must have filmed something. They must have filmed something that just didn't work. And then this is just the reshoot, because it's just like something must have not worked and they just reshot it. Cause like everything in that huge fight scene does not look good. It's just like, something's weird, and then they either reshot it or they recut it, and then it just didn't work. But I was just like, whatever, I'm already 3/4 into this movie, I might as well just finish it, and it was good.
Yeah, I find there's some movies where my suspension of disbelief can go so far, and like I feel like The Flash is not a movie where I'm gonna be like so engrossed that I'm like, I buy into the illusion of the movie being real. So like the fact that it's a little fake is like it's distracting, I'm sure, but like no.
And also I used to watch a CW Flash. I had to stop at season 6. So like it already looked like I already had a feeling how corny it's gonna look. And there was this one, and it's like this one, it definitely does not have the same corniness of that one, the TV show, but it's definitely it's hard to make the Flash look cool. But here's the one thing. That happens right at the beginning. I'm sorry, I'm going along with this. Is that there was a part where like he kind of tees up for the run, and it's kind of cool. Like, wait, one sec. It's kind of like this. He's kind of like, and it's just, and at the start you're kind of like,
frame.
Yeah, it feels kind of like corny, and at the end you're like, yeah, like let's go.
I can vibe with that. Okay. So that's your thoughts on The Flash. Jono, why don't you briefly tell us your thoughts on Antman Quantumania? Another movie with a problematic star.
Oh, well, it's alleged, but everyone's dropping him, so that's really bad. So Jonathan Majors is the problematic star of that one, which is really unfortunate. But Ant-Man, it's okay. I don't think it deserves the hate that the reviewers has given to, I think it's like 33-40%. Well, here's the problem. Okay, here's what I like the movie. I found all the action was okay. I found that the relationship between him and his daughter was great, and I loved how his daughter actually handled some things that were really great.
Okay.
How they handled MODOK is actually really good. It's actually like they knew it's like very self-aware that MODOK is a very weird, stupid looking character.
Yeah.
And they understood it. So, I mean, it's not really a spoiler because the movie's been out forever. It's on Disney Plus.
And yeah, we're going to be talking freely about Quantumania. If you don't want spoilers, I don't know what the fuck you're doing here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
So, I can't remember his full name, but the first Ant-Man, I think it's Darren. He's the villain. So, at the end of that movie, he gets shrunk down, and you kind of think he like kind of implodes on himself. No, he actually travels down to the quantum universe, and he gets kind of weirdly morphed, like big head, small little body, and then
it's him.
It's him. It's actually him.
That's cool. That's kind of fun.
Yeah,
okay.
it's really cool.
That.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then they definitely acknowledge that he looks really fucked up, and it's really good. But it's kind of neat because he also understood that the first one, Darren, was not a very good villain.
He's super generic.
Very generic. So let's just kind of figure out how to rework him. And I would say, I won't say anything else because I think out of the whole movie, his arc was the most interesting because I was like, that's kind of cool. But yeah, people's under feeling about the graphics in the movie, I kind of get it, but also I watched it 1080p and I was like, it's fine. Like, it's like, I would probably understand that, yes, the special effects studio that they contracted out just like push them to the limits, slave labor almost, which is not good. But I watched it. I was like, this is fine. I don't see a problem.
Did it set up, what did it do with Kang? Like, how did it set him up? Because I think it seems like Marvel was trying to team up to be the next Thanos. And does that feel like kind of like the progress they're making in this movie where they're setting him up to be the big bad?
So here's the weird thing. So do you care about me kind of spoiling? So, so the Kang in the movie is actually really good. You actually feel him. He's actually very overpowered. And it feels like almost, let's say if you go at Thanos versus Kang, and Thanos did not have the Infinity Glove, the gauntlet, Kang would kick his ass. Like, it's just like, whoa. This guy can just destroy. He's probably not as strong as the Hulk level, but he feels like he'd have some moves to kill him because he's like, this Kang is the one that went around to all the other universes, or at least his versions, and killed them and killed other Avengers apparently. Because he's like, oh, are you Thor? And so he knows Thor, and he's apparently killed them many, many times. And then you can kind of see like Jonathan Majors did a really good job in this version, just like showing how desperate he is to get out because he's trapped in the quantum universe. And the whole point of the movie is him trying to get out because he was apparently exiled by the other Kangs in this realm. And I think he was really good. Like, to me, like, there was one part I'm like, oh shit, like if Antman can't get out of this, like everyone's fucked. Like this guy is like too powerful. But here's where it kind of flops, is that there's a part of the movie, I think they just kind of like literally wrote themselves in the corner. They're like, okay, how do we get Paul Rudd out of here? Portal closing, it closed, and he's just like, oh, I don't have to win. We just have to both lose. And I was like, oh, it's going to be something really cool. Portal opens back up. Wasp comes in, shoots him a bunch of times, destroys this thing, and he kind of like implodes into the device, the MacGuffin device.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, that's kind of a bummer, because it kind of felt like it could have been more menacing, but maybe he's not dead. He's just got out somehow in a different way that looks like he died. But then the after credit scene kind of goes to a realm where all the Kangs kind of meet, going, hey, that Kang died. We got to think about doing something. And it kind of just ends there. The whole movie was really weird. Like, that's the parts I didn't like, because it's just like, it didn't felt like 3/4 into like, okay, we just don't know. It felt like the studio executive came in and started fucking things up, going, hey, no, we got to make sure that this kind of goes here and this can do this so we can do that. Because it's like, it just, it's just really bad, because like Paul Rudd's character has no growth in the whole movie.
Okay.
Actually all the characters except for the daughter, no growth except for MODOK. That's it. Like, I was just like, you could kind of just like take this whole movie and just go, you learn about Kang a little bit more than Loki. And it was also a Loki thing at the end. Done. Okay. That's it.
Do you feel like a lot of these criticisms are due to the movie being beholden to like setting up things in the MCU? Like, do you think it's because they had so many little like coordinates to hit in order to set up, Kang and MODOK and kind of like bigger universe stuff, that the movie suffered for it?
Yeah, I know 100%, because it feels like they put too much on the plate of this team to kind of handle, saying you need to do this, this, and this, while also being an Ant-Man movie, and they just completely overburdened that team. And I think maybe that's why, like 3/4 of the way in the movie, you're like, oh, this doesn't feel right. Like, it felt definitely the Disney kind of thing of just going, just remember to make sure you do this so we can do that later. Because, like, honestly, you just learn about Kang. Like, this is this Kang story. Boop. But he might be dead. I don't know.
Oh, he's not coming back. No, well, he might not come back.
Well, no, like, this Kang might not come back, but some other Kang.
I don't know. I don't know.
So I
guess one of the nice things about having a multiverse, story is that it's pretty easy to write a reason why they look different. And so, they get a different actor and they're like, I'm Kang. You're like, you don't look like the Kang I know. That's because I've traveled dimensions you don't understand. And you're like, okay, cool. All right. Yeah. Like they released, do you know the show Solar Opposites?
That sounds, oh, yes. It's
like the Justin Roiland show where it's like the family of aliens or whatever. Pretty good show. There's like parts of it that are great. Like there's kind of a seep story that became, the main story of the show.
The Wall is
the
such
Wall.
A good,
yeah. But so they got rid of Justin Roiland, even though he's an executive producer, I believe, or at least a writer. And so they replaced, unlike Rick and Morty, he's not all the characters. He's just Corvo. And so they got rid of him and they replaced him with an actor who's got a very, very different voice. Like, they're not trying to do the Corvo voice. It's like, it's like a kind of like a British voice.
Yeah.
And so they write it into the episode where they accidentally shoot a dart in his throat and then they have to like use a ray to repair his throat, but it changes his speaking voice. And they're all like, whoa, it's crazy. You don't sound the same at all. And they make like another joke or whatever. And I'm like, when you have multiverse and when you have sci-fi, when you have all these things, it's pretty easy to write an in-universe reason.
You just have to make sure that you're better than the original, or at least like similar. If you're worse, then everyone's going to notice and complain.
And it's going to be tough because I think Jonathan Majors is a very promising actor. Like everything I've seen him in, he's been incredible. And it's a shame that the things he's done in his personal life, you know, are what they are. And he's another person where I'm like, I haven't investigated myself. And it's weird. One of the stories that's being pushed now, and I thought it was kind of weird that it's being pushed word for word by a bunch of different outlets. It feels like basically the story that's now being pushed. Okay, all the way back. Jonathan Majors is being accused of domestic abuse of his girlfriend, and she had like broken fingers, bruises on her face, all these things. Basically, she had accused him of battering her. And him and his PR team right away were like, no, we have video evidence to show that we didn't do this. And I was like, it's weird. Like, it's kind of hard to have evidence to show that you didn't do it. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
But basically the evidence they had is that they show her the night after they interacted, the night where she accused him of beating her, after they were together, not being beat up. So she didn't have the bruises. Her finger doesn't seem to be broken because she's using her hands and like using fine motor skills without it being hurt. And so if you believe the story as that is, then it's like, well, then it didn't happen. But I also just think that it feels like a planted PR story to be like, we're going to muddy it up just enough because, you know, like then people can't know for sure. So I don't know for sure. I don't really understand all the politics behind these stories that get placed and planted and shaped. So
I hope it's untrue. I'm not saying I'm backing Jonathan Majors. I'm just a really big fan of his work because, like you said, all the other things. Creed 3, I thought he was great. I was like, holy shit! Like this guy's just like really early in his career, in at least blowing up. He's really great. Devotion, I thought that the whole movie kind of sucked, but I thought his part was really good.
Okay.
And then,
I liked him in Lovecraft Country and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's Antman. What would you rate it out of 10?
That's 6. Yeah.
Okay.
If MODOK
not bad, just
if it's on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, just like play in the background. Do what I do with bad movies. Watch them in chunks and they're more enjoyable that way. You like watch that whole part when they kind of figure out the quantum universe, pause it, do something, come back, then watch like everything building up to the fight, pause it, and come back, then watch the fight to the end. You'll enjoy it. It'll be a good time.
Fair enough. Perfect. So let's break up you talking about movies you've seen with a little bit of talking about the Nintendo Direct that happened today on June 21st, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. I totally forgot that it happened until I got to work and people were like, holy shit, Super Mario RPG Remake. And I was like, holy shit, Super Mario RPG Remake. And then I got acquainted and watched a lot of the other stuff that happened. Jono, what? Well, let's just go through this article that we have and kind of talk about our thoughts. First thing that's up there, because is the most profitable brand in history, is Pokemon expansion. Are you excited for Pokemon expansion?
No. Like, okay, preference, guys. I didn't know that this was happening until half an hour then it started because Twitter was just exploding. Twitter actually worked for once. And then I was like, cool. And then I saw Super Mario RPG, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. And then I just kind of stopped. So the DLC, no, I'm not excited because I like the trading cards on the collecting aspect, but I don't enjoy the games anymore.
Yeah, we can't stick too long on it because I feel about the same. I play a Pokemon game once every like 3 to 5 years, and I'm always like, yeah, it's kind of the same, but it's worse because I'm older. And so I haven't played the Scarlet and Violet. I played shield, sword, one of the two.
Yeah.
And it was fine. I was like, okay. And so like, I am glad that there's more Pokemon content, but that is not for us. So we will move on to more Pokemon content.
Let's just say
Detective Pikachu returns.
Well, let me just say this.
Is
if I didn't play Arceus, I'm not going to play any Pokemon games. And I know if Brandon's listening right now, I'm so sorry, Brandon. You loved it. I know you love it, but
he couldn't stop talking about Arceus.
Yeah.
Arceus?
Arceus.
I don't know. Pokemon doesn't do it for me anymore. Yeah. There is a new Detective Pikachu Returns games. Again, I don't care.
I hope they make a sequel to the movie. I liked the movie. The movie was
pretty good. It was pretty good.
It was good for a Pokemon.
Yeah, as far as like video game movies goes, that's still, top 10 of all time. So pretty low bar. Next was the Super Mario RPG remake. And Jono, you told me that you weren't that excited.
So here's the thing.
Fuck is wrong with you?
I saw screenshots. Wait, let me just. I'm scrolling through the video right now. Yeah, I'm still not excited for it. It just looks like the original game. Okay, so it is a remake. I understand it's a remake. I know it's a remake. It's just that it looks almost 1-to-1 with cutscenes, which is cool, but I don't want to pay like $30+ to buy something that is going to be essentially the same experience that I had playing the Super Nintendo version. And also, I could play it again now if I wanted to right after this podcast in other ways I won't mention. Don't come after me, Nintendo. And it'll be fine.
I'm sending them after you.
Yeah. Here's my kind of hope. Is I hope everyone who has not played it or who loves it just as me and who actually does buy, Nintendo makes a bunch of money and going, okay, it's been almost 30 years. I guess we should make a sequel because you should have freaking done that.
Yeah,
so long ago.
The spiritual successor was the Paper Mario franchise, and the first couple ones are really good, but they're not the same. And that series went down the tank real fucking quick, dude.
Yeah,
the later ones fucking suck. Fuck you, stickers. I hate you.
I just don't understand it. Yeah.
So I feel very differently. I am beyond excited. I've never beaten Super Mario RPG. I've played it 10-ish hours in, and I just kind of fall off. Okay, let me clarify for those who don't know me. I'm a fucking retro gamer. I fucking love old games. That being said, old RPGs are really fucking hard to play in modern times. There's a lot of little quality of life things that we take for granted, and when you go back, it's really hard. Even something as simple as just fucking suspending and resuming an RPG. It means you don't have to like play until you hit a save point or like you lose your save, you're fucked. There's tons of ways that like leveling is really grindy back then because like it was better that the game is long by grinding. Now we don't fucking want that. And so the balance of modern RPGs, way more fun, way better, way slicker. And like you said, the cutscenes are the same. No, they're not. What the fuck are you talking about? There's no fucking cutscenes in the first one.
Yeah,
there's like talking. There's like talking. There's not full video where there's like close-ups of characters. Oh, that's a cutscene.
No, those cutscenes in the way of how Super Nintendo handles the cutscenes. It's just like you see
that's
shit
not going to be the fucking same, dude.
But who gives a shit?
What are you talking about? It's not. So you're saying that like some dude drawing a Spider-Man sketch is the same as watching Into the Spider-Verse?
No.
Like there's 30 years of technological advancement.
Yeah, but here's
like cinematic advancement where they're going to absolutely totally tell the story in a different way. Like you're actually insane. So the cutscenes are the same. No, they're not.
So here's the funny thing. David and I, we disagree a lot, but this is the high tension disagreements because we disagreed on Guardians of the Galaxy. God, I kind of came around
slightly.
But this one, I don't think I'm gonna move on because here's the thing. It's like, yes, you see different angles. You see fucking I can't remember what all the guys' names are, but like you just see them in different angles in full motion and probably voices. It's like, okay, but still ultimately same thing happens. Mario gets fucking kicked out of the castle because of the smithy sword, and he goes on a journey, gets this mushroom thing, that thinks he's a fucking frog for some reason, and then you get the guy who shoots guns, which is really cool.
We're looking at the same page.
Yeah.
Scrub your video to 120 and then watch 15 seconds of that and tell me that's the fucking same as the Super Nintendo. Like it's like it's saying that like someone retelling you about like a comedian's act that they saw is the same as seeing that comedian live. Like, yeah, the beats are the same, but no, it is not the fucking same.
No, it's like, to me, I just go, like, it's just this, like, to me, maybe it's because here's the thing. I've played Super Mario RPG, like, I beat it about like 10 times, and just like, yeah, it's cutscene, but does it add anything? I don't think it does. Like, it's just, it's like
You're right. Yeah, well, RE2 remake versus RE2, same game. Oh yeah. Dead Space versus Dead Space, same game. We've done a whole episode on remakes, and like this is like one of those ones that, you know, is like the lower end of remake, high end of remaster, but we also have so few details. This looks like a full retooling, full rework, and it's gonna be so different and so much better than going back and playing the original. Yeah, you have your nostalgia, but for everyone else, even yourself, when you go to this, you're gonna be like, yo, this is better. You're so wrong, and I can't wait for you to see this game come out and be proven so wrong.
You know what? Here's the thing. I hope I'm proven wrong, because I want this game to be so successful to make a sequel.
We get a sequel.
I want a sequel. I want it to be successful in a way that I want it to be a sequel. Will I play this? Probably not. I will probably just watch someone else play it and going, cool. Mm-hmm. Yep. I will not spend the $30. I just hope.
It's going to be $80, dude. I don't know where you pulled this $30 figure from. It's a remake. It's not a remaster. It's a remake.
So here's the thing. It's like all those other remakes and remasters that we talked about, like, you know, The Last of Us, Resident Evil 4, those have been retooled so much that
not Last of Us.
The Last of Us?
It's the same game. It's just a graphical upgrade.
Okay, which one? Are you talking about the remastered, or are you talking about...
No, the remake. The remake is the same game. Like, all the enemies are in the same spot, all the guns are the same. Like, there's, like, small quality of life improvements, but it's, like...
Okay.
The Dead Space one is a more comprehensive remake, or Resident Evil 4, too. Like, that's a good, like, comprehensive reimagining of it.
That's okay. That's
a retelling of it.
Yeah. So like maybe that's what I was hoping for, is it not like a remaster. I was like maybe a retelling. Like if they did it again and then just made a lot of changes to the story. Let's just say if they did it the same, not quite the same way, but like the same way that Final Fantasy VII is doing their kind of is that even a remake anymore? Is that a reboot?
It's a reboot now.
Yeah.
I'm not super pumped. I probably will be more excited when I get close to it, but I've like realized I'm not that excited for part 2. I loved part 1. I fucking loved it. And I was really excited that they can kind of go their own way.
Yeah.
But then I was like, what's the way they're going to take it?
Here's the thing. I just want to see Tifa doing more stuff because I just love her. She's my waifu, so whatever. It's great. So anyways, Super Mario RPG, you and I are going to disagree. We can talk about it. Yeah, it comes out. And then,
I'm proven so right.
If I'm wrong, and I will try a little bit of it. And, okay. Yep. I'll try a little bit of it. If I'm wrong, I'll buy it. I'll buy it for you. I'll be like, okay, I'm wrong. Sure. I'm sorry. Here you go.
I think my guess is it'll review exceptionally well, just because Nintendo remakes always do, because people are like, oh yeah, Metroid Prime, that game is perfect. And it's actually like, it's not perfect. It's just like, you know, you loved it back then and you're kind of like carrying that forward. Yeah. I fucking love the Metroid Prime remake. I really liked it, but it was not as good as the review said it was. No. I have a feeling the Super Mario RPG will be kind of the same thing, where if you're nostalgic for it, it's going to be absolutely fucking phenomenal, but it's going to have some like rough edges and some dated design that will be a little bit tough to swallow, but I think it'll review very well. It's going to be very popular, especially compared to the old one, especially because we're at the end of the life of Switch and the install base is so fucking high. So even if 10% of Switch owners buy it, that's 12 million, whatever copies.
Yeah. This game will sell like pancakes. It'll be great. Oh, and here, if you guys haven't played Super Mario RPG, it's fucking great. But
It's very good.
here is the dream team: Mario, Bowser, and Peach. If you have them in your party and you have all the ultimate weapons, you win. You will destroy everyone, and also timing is a big thing in the game too. So
which is cool. That's one of the things I really like is that you have to kind of pay attention and be active because so many JRPGs, especially of that time, are just like, you wait for your turn and you just do stuff. You can take as long as you want.
Yeah.
You just press. So I liked the timing based stuff. So big fan. Moving on to Pikmin 4. So they showed some gameplay 1 month away. There's gonna be a demo next week. Are you a Pikmin player, Jono?
So here's the thing. It's like maybe this is why I'm not too jazzed about Nintendo is that after Super Nintendo, I never bought another Nintendo console except for the DS. So
you don't have a Switch?
No, I have a Switch. Like I didn't buy one until like the DS came out.
I see.
Then I bought everything else since then. I remember Pikmin from I think it was a GameCube launch title. And
I don't know if it was launch, but maybe.
Yeah, it was, well, at least it was on GameCube for sure. And it looked really interesting, but it reminded me too much of Lemmings, but Lemmings in 3D and you can kind of like attack and stuff, which is kind of neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've actually like never beaten a Pikmin game. I've played a little bit of the first one on GameCube at a friend's house. And I was like, this is not for me. But I was also in a pretty intense fanboy era where I was like, I don't like Nintendo games. And so I'm not excited, but I wish we had someone here who was, because they shadow dropped 1 and 2 remaster, which is pretty cool. So if you can go right now and buy 1 and 2 remaster for Switch, and that's great because while you're doing that, I'm going to be playing the next WarioWare game.
Oh, WarioWare was just it's literally a party game, but like it's now on the same lines of it was a precursor of like random crazy YouTube. Like if you go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Like the TikTok era.
Yeah.
I love WarioWare games. I've had a ton of fun with them across many consoles. Like there's some good handheld WarioWares. So this one is very motion focused. You can play up to 4 players, but it seems like kind of primarily 1 and 2 players. It's one of those things it's really hard to know if it's going to be good until I'm playing these mini games.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I like having stuff to play with friends or family at home if I had friends.
It's a game. It's a good drinking game. I remember. Well, yes. I barely remember one party that we played. He's like, we're going to play WarioWare. If you lose, you got to drink. I'm like, I'm going to die. Like I haven't played it. Can we do it? If you win, you drink. So at least everyone who sucks kind of has a level playing field. So we changed the rules to that. And then it was actually a very enjoyable time.
And what's fun about it is that it's like, it's not about some skill or knowledge. It's just about like understanding quickly and doing. Yeah. And I think that's really fun. It's a very like great equalizer in that sense. Like it's like Smash Bros. Can be fun at a party, but then you have that one dude who's a fucking esports pro and just can stomp on everyone. You're like, this isn't fun.
Yeah.
Or Mario Kart, someone who's just dashing nonstop and like, it can be fun, but WarioWare is fun because you can't really be good at WarioWare. I mean, you can, but you're not coming to my party. If you practice WarioWare, get out of here.
Yeah. It's one of those games if you are good at it, you ruined everyone's time.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's WarioWare. Next was a new 2D Mario game, and part of like the new Super Mario Bros. Lineup, but it's Super Mario Bros. Wonder. It's been over a decade since there's been a 2D Mario game.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Jono?
I'm looking at it right now. It looks fun. It looks exactly what I would expect a Mario game of today's generation to look. It's not completely 2D. It's a little bit 3D. It's a platformer. Everyone's going to like it. My nieces and nephews are probably going to ask for it for Christmas, and I'll probably just buy it for them. Here's the thing. It's really hard. It's really hard for Nintendo to screw up a 2D game, especially when Mario in it. I think it'll be like a 9 out of 10. Like everyone's just going to love it.
Yeah. I think it'll be good. I am not a huge fan of the 3D 2D Mario games, like the new Super Mario Bros. And all those ones. I don't like the way they look. I find them
Really
devoid of charm. And this is definitely me being like, I'm an old person. I wish they did a sprite-based Mario game, not like a polygon, like the 3D models moving on a 2D plane. Because I just don't think it's as fun. And I also find they've never made it feel as good. Like there's something that just doesn't like click as satisfying for me. Probably me being old and like liking the way it used to feel. But to me, Mario's never felt better than Super Mario World in 2D.
Maybe here's the thing. Try it on a CRT and see how that feels. And maybe that it might be because it's just response time. Because here's the thing is that these games were meant, or at least the old ones were meant to be played on CRT. Well, at least HD TVs never existed back then. And you can be really precise and you can be really competitive on those TVs because the response times was like near zero and everything felt crisp. Like you push a jump, it jumps exactly when you want. You don't have to worry about latency or delay.
That's definitely a fair thing. I actually probably will play this one on a CRT. I play a lot of my Switch games on an HD CRT, and it's the best. I fucking love it.
But I get it. I get it. I get exactly what you're talking about. Like,
it's not the same.
Is it because like the nostalgia factor and everything? But here's the thing. I have 7 nieces and nephews. I've watched them play all the Nintendo Super Mario games, and they look like they're having a good time. So I'm gonna assume it's.
I'm sure it's good. And I almost guarantee I will be buying it. Hopefully on sale. Just kidding. Nintendo games never go on sale. So we'll see. Yeah. So that's the big Nintendo news. There was the Sonic Superstars, which is the 2D 3D Mario game, was announced for Sims. Yeah. I don't care about that. Persona 5 Tactica is going to come to Switch, which was not surprising to me. It was presented as an Xbox exclusive. So to me now, the question is it one of those weird like Microsoft Nintendo's alliance things where it won't show up on a Sony console? I don't think so. I think it'll be on a PlayStation console pretty much guaranteed.
Maybe it's exclusive for a couple of months. That's all I can think of.
Maybe. It's possible. And Microsoft might be like, we need to secure Atlas as our close ally for that Japanese market. Yeah. So then there's MythForce. Who cares? I'm so sorry. Someone's listening to this and like, I care about MythForce. So Splatoon, new event. There's a Princess Peach game, but they didn't really show much. There's, it's confirmed for development. Yeah. Just like Metroid Prime 4. Cool.
Yay.
Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon getting ported to Switch. Cool. Batman Arkham Trilogy coming to Switch. Woohoo. Gloomhaven coming to Switch. Woo. Just Dance 24. Silent Hope, dungeon crawling game starring Heroes Who Can't Speak, was announced by Exit Games. Cool. Announced. Faith Farm is on other stuff.
Yeah.
Always Unleashed 2, sure. DLC for other stuff. Metal Gear Solid Remake, or the Master Collection, is coming to Thingamabob. Vampire Survivors. Yeah. And then just a bunch of like little stuff that I was not like.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Here's the best thing. It's just rest of games that you may or may not care about. The one thing, I guess a couple episodes ago, we were talking about, we're talking about Zelda. I guess it is confirmed on the theory that David kind of came up, and then I started kind of backing it up, is that, and I'm probably going to bet that next year, or maybe at the end of this year, after they sold as many as they can and whatever, they'll probably leak information, or they'll announce Switch 2 coming out 2024.
Yeah, there's so many unknowns. Like, it's like the market might change entirely, but I totally get why Nintendo hasn't pushed anything, because they're still selling them like gangbusters. So like, why mess with the thing that's working?
I was at Walmart the other day and I saw like a mom had like 3 Nintendo Switches in her shopping cart, and I was like, holy shit.
That's the thing that's so brilliant about it, is it's not like a PS5 where you buy, one and your house has a PS5. Mm-hmm. It's like you get a Switch and then it's like, oh, your 3 kids all want to play at the same time. Well, you need 3 Switches.
Yeah.
And so I don't think they could have done a better job getting a device that so many people want and that so many people want multiples of. Mm. And so I hope, as a hardcore gamer, I want, the 1080p 60 Switch or the 4K 60 Switch. Mm. But Nintendo has no reason to. Like, nobody fucking cares. So
I'm actually very interested in seeing what the hardware is going to be. So hopefully Nintendo fixes the mistake and just actually kind of quasi future proofs the hardware and not be kind of dated right when it comes out, which to be honest, the Switch was. It was, and then like who knows? But Switch 2 2024. That's my bet.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think like holiday 20. It'll announce it in like the early summer kind of thing, and then it'll be in the fall. That's it for the Nintendo thing. I'm going to talk about Succession for a little bit, and then we'll go back to Extraction. I don't have much to say because I want to do a more comprehensive episode once I'm fully done. I'm thinking we should have like Adam on. Adam and I talk about Succession all the time.
Nice.
It'd be a fun guest episode.
Wait, let me just kind of like let me just bring up Succession. So tell me what is Succession?
Succession is the story of a family led by this billionaire media mogul who, you know, is kind of reminiscent of like a Rupert Murdoch type where, you know, he runs a news business that is a much bigger business, very vicious business person. And he has these 3 kids that are all pieces of shit, and everyone's a piece of shit on the show. But they all are spoiled in different ways, and they all have their own strengths. And so it's a show about, you know, who will succeed him as the person who runs the company. And so that's the setting of the show. And, you know, there's dynamics that change throughout the whole thing. But the way that it was described to me that I love is that it's basically Arrested Development, where the audience doesn't know that it's like funny. And so it's these really like these assholes that are like, think they're really smart, but they're really fucking stupid. Doing stuff that is like just insane, and it's super engrossing and absolutely like incredible to watch. But what I find is the greatest strength of the show, and this is probably all I want to say about it. The greatest strength of the show is that even though these are billionaire asshole pieces of shit, the show's writing is so good and the performances support this writing so well that I was able to see myself in every character. In like every character, I'm like, that's something about me that is true. And that's something about me that I see presented by that character. And maybe not every single character, but every single main or reoccurring character, I'm like, that's the part of me that does this. That's the part of me that does this. And so there's like a true like relatability to this totally unrelatable situation that I found absolutely mesmerizing and captivating, where other shows about assholes being assholes, like deplorable people being deplorable, I don't like because I don't relate to the people. Whereas this, like, I understand them. And so I think the show is awesome. I never have been bored. I'm halfway through season 4. I've watched it in like a week and a half, the whole thing. I'm fucking so good. And so I highly recommend everyone watching Succession so that when I talk about it fully and we go into spoilers, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But just a good show. Just a good show. Everyone watch it. Yeah, everyone watch it.
Here's kind of my kind of things. First thing I want to say, I was where you were talking about it. I kind of looked it up and who was in it. Is this why Macaulay Culkin's brother, Kieran Culkin, he was kind of like blowing up on Twitter a couple weeks ago? Is it because
it's
of the show?
Definitely because of Succession, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so there's the 3 kids. There's 4 kids, but one kind of sticks out of the business stuff, and you know he's from a different mother, I believe. Yeah. So the 3 main kids are Kendall, who's kind of like the typical Wall Street business smarmy dude. Like the first scene you're introduced to him is him in the back of a limo with like headphones on, and he's got like rap going, like aggressive rap, and he's like punching the back of the seat, and he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, oh yeah, and he goes to a meeting, he's like, all right, dude, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, and he's like just like a business bro. Yeah. And then there's Siobhan, who's the daughter, and she is like, you know, seems like the more level-headed one. She's not even part of the business. She's in politics, and she's cold and calculating and more calm and reserved than the other ones. So she definitely comes across as like, you know, the reasonable one. And then the youngest one, I think I'm getting that order right, actually. I'm not 100% sure, but is Kieran Culkin's character, who is Romulus or Roman. And he is super funny, but he's actually probably my least favorite character, even though I very much enjoy him on screen. Yeah. He's kind of a perv and awkward, and he just says like awful things. And so I find I see myself a lot in him and like kind of his patheticness.
I
with like
wouldn't say
wanting
that.
to be no with just like seeking approval even when you don't deserve it, and you're like, I need people to like convince me, you know, that I'm doing good, but it's like he actually isn't doing well. So like that aspect of, like I said, not even just myself, but I think everyone seeks approval even when deep down like they probably don't deserve it. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it, but everyone go watch Succession. It's fucking awesome. It's dark, but it's good. Well, it's not that dark.
Yeah, here's a couple follow-up thing, because like, you know, people love to watch bad people do bad things. Like that's my kind of understanding. Because Arrested Development was based enough. Everyone, even like Michael, like whoever original he was, and he seemed like a good person. He starts becoming just as bad as his family. But it's just Arrested Development was fun to watch because you want to see what kind of shit they got to get into and how they get out of it, and how crazy Net's character, all those characters get. And then you have another show where it's still, I don't know how it's still going on, but it's a great show. It's Always Sunny. Like I went in watching It's Sunny. I'm like, I'm going to root for these guys. I'm going to love them. No, you're the worst people.
Yeah.
You just want to see
pieces of trash.
You just want to see them doing bad things, and then the bad consequences happen to them, because it's just funny. But this one just seems like it's the same kind of motif, but it is just like you start kind of like, it's more character and story driven. They're like, okay, we want these kind of elements, but let's make it to a dramatic, compelling story that makes someone want to relate and also watch.
Well, and it's a really fascinating show in terms of production too. And I'll say that for like the episode we would talk about it properly, but like they do some really unique things that I think are very fascinating from a show making perspective, that I think really accentuate the brilliance of the show. And so that's Succession. Jono, you tell me about Extraction 2.
So, hopefully enough, if you've listened to this podcast for the last couple months, or at least since you guys started, I have a deep love for action movies, but not in the same way of haha, cool, explosion, bang, bang, gun, gun. It's more of the technicality, because I will watch a movie like John Wick 4 and go, how did they do this? Because for me, I would like to say I'm a producer. I've done production work. I've done producing stuff at LMG and even at MKBHD. And I love that stuff. And now for me, I can like watch something, enjoy it, and then rewatch it like 10 times going, how did he set up the shot? How, like, what did he do? What the things they do? And then Extraction is such a good movie for that, because they do these epic oneers that isn't really a one shot. It's like a lot of shots that compile to make it look like a one shot. Extraction 1 had like a 12, 13 minute one. This one had a 22-minute oneer, which went from nighttime to early morning, and it was insane. But anyways, I'm going a little bit forward. So Extraction, the whole movie is basing off Chris Hemsworth's character doing things and extracting a person or people out of a dangerous situation and getting to a journey of self-discovery and development during that, in a high action pace, octane way of just getting from point A to B and causing as much distraction and self-harm as possible. And Extraction 1 did it really well, and I loved every character. Extraction 2, holy shit, they went like, they literally did a Spinal Tap. Like, oh, Extraction 1 was 10, this is now 11. Like, just so we get a little bit more. And oh my God, I watched it after The Flash, or ironically, and I was like, holy shit, like this one is like, I felt like I didn't get enough action in The Flash. This one just like satiated me. I'm like, oh,
hell yeah,
so good. Give me more. Extraction 3, please. Give me now.
Cool. That's really cool. I have found myself less and less impressed by long oneers, especially like you said, when you can recognize that it's not actually one take. It's like multiple shots stitched together using, compositing. And so is the story good?
So, okay. Yeah. The story is really bland. It's based enough. His ex-wife's sister is in trouble, His wife has, through a broker, hired him and his group band of friends to extract them out of a bad situation. And the ex-wife's sister's husband and the husband's brother are ahead of a quasi almost Nazi-like faction. So they make sure that they kind of go, these guys are really bad, so you don't feel bad about them dying. So basically enough, he kills his sister-in-law's husband, and then the brother comes after them to try to kill them all. Those other little nuances where it's like, oh yeah, like this is what family is, and blah blah blah. I don't care. It's all about just like the sequence of action. Like if you like action, you like John Wick, and you just want something to kind of help you get in between to John Wick 5. Oh God, I don't want to talk about it. Then yeah, watch this movie because it's just like the wonder is cool because you see him go into prison, gets the people out, car chase, then becomes a train chase, and fighting in between, and the frantic of violence is so, I'm not gonna say realistic, it's just so action-packed and awesome. So
intense. Yeah. Okay, good to know. So you're definitely recommending people watch Extraction 2 if they're action fans?
Yeah, I'm not gonna give it a number. I'm just going, it's on Netflix. If you haven't watched Extraction 1, go watch Extraction 1, then Extraction 2. But don't watch it right after each other. Watch 1, wait a couple days, then watch 2.
Yeah, I can totally get that. I find action movies, they kind of become samey if you watch too many one after the other. So it's nice to just take a pause and be able to appreciate the craftsmanship and the work that goes into making such excellent action. So that's Extraction 2. That's it for the episode. I mean, you can briefly talk about your car adventures if you really want to.
Let's just save that because there's probably one episode I want to like talk about the whole shitstorm of not shitstorm, my experiences in America, because there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad and there's a lot of great behavior and there's a lot of bad behavior. Like, I'm not even like holding back. There's a lot of like weird stuff. I'm like, I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have done that. Holy shit. I thought this stuff was only in movies. How did you get away with saying the sequence of words in that order to that person and not implode or get arrested right there and then? So thanks, New York.
Hell yeah, New York. New York.
New York's great, though. But anyways, it's the end of the episode.
Thank you so much. Let's just shout out to everyone watching this. If you made it this far, you can check us out on Twitter at TJMPod. Nope. That's not what you can check us out at. Let's wing it pod or let's wing it 22@gmail.com. You can reach us our personal Twitters, Jono Tan 86. Is that it?
Yeah, Jono
I always
Tan
get it wrong.
86
and the chosen.David.
Yeah, and if you
although I'm not super active these days because fuck social media.
I'm super active because I just like to shit post all day. But we don't want to forget our awesome drumettes on patreon.com/wingit. We actually have I think there's 2 new drumettes. So we're gonna shout them out first. The last my voice is dying, but I'll just do it. I'll do it for you guys. Coco the Cat, Jeremy Swedro, Bjorn Bueller, Ryan T, Elias Amendias, Deris, John Gers, Emma Franklin, Mark Bradshaw, Murray Martinez, Sly Merlin, Ethan Lowe, David Curry, Briggs Wellman, Amaro Coe, Daniel Quazo, Joel Norton, Cody Owen, Matthew Noonan, what's up, dude? And Mike 1814, Guillermo Navarro. Let's go.
Let's go. We did it.
Yeah, we did.
All right. Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.